Want me to read this? Yeah. I said it might be a bit long, you know. Right, Perception by Mick McCann. That's me. Is the sky really blue? The clouds are clearly white. Is the sun really yellow, or is it just my sight? Is the grass really green? Am I sure the soil is brown? Are those roses really pink when the light comes shining down?
I found out I was colourblind when I was around 21, 22. I used to be a hairdresser, so in hairdressing there's like a tone for every colour of hair, and I couldn't tell the difference between the tones. I actually remember getting like a proper colour vision test thing done, and it's the circle with the dots and the numbers. It's like, just tell me what number you see. I was like, yeah, 42. And I had the answer straight away every time. I was like, yeah, I'm not colourblind. And then at the end he's like, yeah, you're really colourblind. Like, you see different numbers than normal. I was like, oh, okay.
When I was in primary school, I remember being pulled out of class to do a colourblind test and was flicking through one of these books that had dots, different coloured dots with numbers in them, and you had to try and pick out the number. And I remember being told you have a problem with colour vision.
Like, I was never given that much information about it. Even when we got the letter from like the HSE, I was literally just told you have regular colour blindness, but I didn't know. And it wasn't around the time where, oh yeah, I can Google this. So it was never one of those things I revisited. So I don't really know too much about it, to be honest, which is kind of funny, because it would be something that might affect me quite a bit.
I didn't even get it in writing. I just did that test with the bubbles, the different colour bubbles with numbers and letters, and I couldn't see some of them. That was as basic as it got, just with green. Then I just said, right, I have colour blindness, you know.
I was in primary school, and I was drawing pictures, and like the grass was orange, and the sky was purple, and people were green. And I remember one of my teachers picking up one of my things and being like, oh, what? After like 4 weeks of doing it every day. I remember very specifically the first time I ever got corrected. There was this packet of crayons on the table, and I asked for the grey crayon, and everyone was like, there's no grey crayon. And I was like, I'll have that one right there, and I was pointing at, like, I think it was a light blue crayon, and someone told on me. Someone told the teacher that I was trying to make fun of them, and then that was when it kind of became a thing.
Or is my mind just being tricked by the colours I perceive? How can I tell if nature's plan is for my eyes to be deceived? Everything could be black and white, maybe I wouldn't even know. But there is colour everywhere because music tells me so.
So say there's like two shades of red that are super close, right? I assume I only see one, the same colour for both, right? That's how it tends to be.
I do struggle with like differentiating between like greens and browns and kind of dark reds. Like there's a dark brown and dark green. Sometimes if they're quite close to each other, I can't tell the difference, or I might mix them up.
I think I can always pick out red, but it's mostly between like brown and green. Those colours can be quite tricky to tell apart sometimes.
Say with a rainbow. When I looked at a rainbow, I saw greeny yellow-ish and then blue-ish. And that was what a rainbow was to me. So I knew there was a lot more colours happening, but with specifically a rainbow, I couldn't see them. If
you have a kid and you tell them that the grass is purple, they're seeing green, but they're going to call it purple. So whatever I'm seeing, I call it what everyone else calls it. There's a lot of times where you could be seeing something different, but the way we use words to describe it is exactly the same. Like, we could be standing here having a conversation. What I'm seeing in this room could be completely different, but we call it the same word, so as far as we know, it's exactly the same. I'd say I accepted not knowing what colours were. I'd never try label things as colours. It was always just, that looks like it does.
It's funny seeing people's reactions to it, because, yeah, not many people know much about colour blindness.
The general kind of thought around colour blindness, like the general consensus would be that, oh, he's colourblind, he sees everything in black and white like a 50s film or something, but it's obviously not that bad at all.
I get some funny questions, all right. People will always go, oh, so what colour is this, or do you see that as pink?
I think a lot of people think either I see the world in black and white or grey, or that I just can't see certain colours, or that I just mix up red and green. So it's always interesting explaining to them.
I think people have this perception that it's like, oh, it only affects reds and greens, but red and green isn't so much. Do you know what I mean? It actually changes your whole spectrum.
I think it's just a lack of awareness and a lack of understanding, really. And sure, if I have it, and I don't really understand it that well myself, it's never affected someone directly. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem for them either.
There are definitely certain times where someone would describe a colour and I'm like, no, they're the same. And they're like, no, that's two different things. I'm like, no, they're 100% the same. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of missing out on some, but like, as I say, because I've never actually seen them, as soon as someone says the name, I'm like, yeah, it's not a real thing.
2 years ago, I remember it was my first apartment in college. I was living there for like a full year, and I remember on the last day when I was moving out, I just said to my roommate, I was like, I hate this like disgusting brown carpet, it's horrible, I can't wait to get out of here. And he said to me, Cian, it's green. So I had spent like the whole year thinking a carpet was brown and it was actually like a dark green, and I just didn't know the difference, yeah.
If I was painting pictures in school of people's skin colour, if there was just a set of paint there, I'd pick up bright green to paint people's skin. Not because I thought people's skin was green, but that was the colour I'd associate with pairing up for it. Things like grass was just, I knew it was green because that's like your brain saying, everyone says grass is green, but to me, I'd pick up orange to colour it in. I
always remember there was one guy at school, he had kind of like a darker kind of ginger colour hair, and I always saw his hair as being green. And like, I'd look at him every day and I was like, geez, what a horrible head of hair.
It's reared its head all right when I think, when I asked my wife to iron me grey shirt and she irons the green one.
Like, it's not seeing something wrong, it's seeing something different. You know what I mean? So I in terms of my understanding of it, all I kind of know is that it's not like a disability, but it's like your brain processes it differently.
So it says that I see, there's 1 million shades of colour roughly in existence, and I see 15,000 of them. So there's a lot of things I don't see. But it never really affected me or anything like that. It was just, I lived in this slightly different world, I thought. But it turns out it's very different. It's crazy.
The blues are a deep and smoky blue, and reggae is the sun. A yellow shimmer lighting up, colour living just for fun. A fiddler playing a homesick tune is green without a doubt. And jazz can be a rainbow, colours fading in and out. Drifting slow from mauve to blue, or wine to fire truck red. All these colours when I listen, flying around inside my head.
So kind of paint and stuff in my spare time, and most of it would usually kind of be like in grayscale and black and white with maybe a few hints of colour. I wouldn't go too mad on the colour schemes because portraits might turn up looking like Shrek. I work in ecology, so I do a lot of work with birds of prey and in bird research. Generally what's used are either colour wing tags or colour bands that are wrapped around the bird's legs. And sometimes they can be numbered as well, so I find that really handy when they're numbered. People who pick the wing tag colours are certainly not thinking about people who have colour blindness, because sometimes they have like blue, pink and lilac. If you're trying to see these colours, especially in low light, it's very hard to like distinguish between a few of them.
Production design is just like visualising scripts for theatre, film, TV kind of stuff. So on the job is you get a script, obviously it's just words, you might get a bit of the script and then you pull out everything visual and then you create that universe from the text. I don't know everything until now, because I have the guys who are just like, that's the wrong colour. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll fix that, yeah, grand.
Well, I maintain plants and water them and pot them up and look after them for students. In other aspects of my life, I see things different to other people, and I do, mainly everything. See, a botanist looks at a plant and sees a completely different thing to what I see, you know. I'm able to take on a person or an experience that's outside of this nature stuff, you know, and express it in poetry.
I make art all the time, and because my art looks a bit mental, because I'm colourblind, everyone knows that I am colourblind. My own art, it's really, really vibrant and full of colour. And a lot of my friends have been like, it's so bizarre that you're so vibrant and colourful with your art. But I think it was because I was trying to make up for the difference, because if I had a load of colours, it wouldn't look that vibrant to me, so I'd have to add more and more bright colours. I just did what I felt like. I never knew what colours I was using. It was always just, the look of that and the look of that look cool to me, so let's go with that.
I might have to go back to the drawing board in terms of bird research if it does continue to be a problem. Some job advertisements will have clearly please, no colour blindness. And I'm just really hoping that it's going to be okay, because I'm just going to have to change career if it doesn't work out all right.
I hope that they think it's colourful. That's the main thing. I'm like throwing as much colour as I can, and I don't care almost about the person I've painted. It's about the colours and the stuff I've used for the background that's important to me.
I obviously keep in mind what other people see as well. So if I painted someone and maybe they didn't kind of see the colours as complementary as I did, I'd kind of keep that in mind. And I'd obviously, like, a lot of the time I'd kind of get a second opinion, like, to say, like, does this look weird or not?
The odd time with work, it might come up in terms of, like, say I'm doing, like, something presentation-wise, you know, or something that I'm getting paid a lot for, kind of thing. I have to check with people on in terms of, like, just does that make sense? But I think that's just my own, I won't call it an insecurity, but just, like, double check that for me, you know, that kind of way. Look, I'm a colourblind artist, you can do whatever you want.
You don't only need your eyes to see colours everywhere. You can sense them, smell them, hear and touch them, so you know that they are there. There's no true colours anyway. It depends on your line of sight. They can look completely different from a certain angle in a certain light.
Like, I mean, I find out about these glasses. I don't know if they've come up whenever you've been researching this. They like fix colourblindness, which I actually don't understand how that works.
I wasn't actually aware that you could get glasses that could correct colour vision. Up until like a week or two ago, I didn't know they existed.
I suppose, yeah, because I've only heard about them now in the last like month or two, because I really enjoy my work, so getting those glasses. Like, if that could enable me to continue on doing what I'm doing, that'd be fantastic. So
Found out about them like a year ago. Yeah, it was about a year ago actually, because I was going to America, and there was like 6 shops in America at the time that sold them. So my dad was with me there, and he was like, "I'll drive you if you want to go." But I got scared. I was like, "Oh, that's a lot of, I don't know, it's a lot to take in if I'm going to see everything different." So I kind of just chickened out of it.
Could you imagine if you put that on and everything was completely different? You'd be like, oh, like, I'm not saying I'm scared of that, but like at the same time, like, I haven't really thought of how other people see the world in that sense.
Well, I would throw them on, yeah, just for the experience of it, like, as if I'd taken a drug or something, just to see what it was like, but I don't know, it'd be just out of curiosity.
Be interesting to look through, like, how, like, discover how other people kind of see, because obviously I'm looking through my own lens. I see colour differently to other people, so I think it would be interesting to see how other people view colour.
if I don't actually get them myself, I'll always be like, oh, I wish I could see this now with the full colour glasses.
You say, I always think that I see everything right and everyone else is wrong. They all have the glasses on, you know, take them off. And see the true colours, which don't exist in the first place.
Yeah, I was scared that I'd get upset that I was missing out on this huge thing. And I'd be like, oh no, like what I see is crap now. But that's not what happened. It was very different. It was like, I put them on and all of a sudden I had 2 worlds to look at. I opened up the glasses because they were wrapped up, and I was looking at them like, why did you get me sunglasses? And then I saw my friend sniggering, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is what this is. And I just sat looking at them for about, it seemed like about 10 minutes, but it was like 20 seconds, just being like, oh crap. Okay, I have to do this now, I can't chicken any further. And yeah, I put them on and I was just looking at stuff, being like, is it different? I can't tell. And then I looked up on the wall and there was this pink sign. I'll never forget what it looked like. It was just, I'd never seen that colour before, because it looked grey to me when I didn't have them on. And it was this like beautiful, rich pink. And then everything clicked and I started looking around the room and everything was different. And I was like, oh crap. I got quite emotional about it then. It was really overwhelming. And then one of my friends was like, let's look at your art. And I was like, oh, whoa, I'm gonna see what this actually looks like. A lot of it was really hectic. And I was like, God, this is really hurting my head. There's so much colour going on here. And it was like, it was overboard. Like nearly everything I had done just had as many colours thrown at it as possible. And I was looking at colour combinations I picked and I was like, that's just mental. Those colours are like completely at odds with each other. But it was really exciting to look at it and see when I have them on, oh, that doesn't make any sense. But then take them off, I'm like, that looks fine to me, that looks good. When I got them, I was in kind of a bad place in my head. I wasn't feeling very good about things, and I was just pretty down a lot of the time. And so when I got them, and I was kind of scared about putting them on as it was, and then I put them on, and just everything inside me lifted a little once it all clicked, because I was like, whoa, this is so beautiful, and everything just became more beautiful. So now I had this way of looking at the world that I thought was pretty beautiful as it was, even more so. Yeah, it picked me back up out of that and picked me up off my feet, which was, it felt really, I felt even more connected with just colour afterwards. Yeah, it was really, really cool. It really, I don't know, it just made me feel better about life. Everyone else had this world that I didn't have, and I was left out of it. Whereas now, I can dip into that whenever I want, but now I have my own thing that no one else can see, and there's no way for them to be able to see it. So it's all just, everything I see right now, you'll never be able to see it, because it's the way my eyes specifically are, whereas I can dip into what you see, and that feels really special, that I can have two versions of everything.
Who cares if you don't see the same way that others do? Just appreciate the beauty, if jade green or electric blue. There's no rule or regulations about the way that I should see. It's all about perception.